Presenting first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing red with white trim. On the scale, he weighed in at an official 117 pounds. Tonight, in his 31st professional bout, with 26 victories against 4 losses, 11 of those victories coming by way of knockout. The 3-time world title challenger from Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, Israel Higa Gonzalez. Across the ring in the red corner, wearing white with gold and green trim, his official weight, 117 3/4 pounds. Tonight, in his 25th professional bout, with an outstanding record of 21 victories against 1 defeat, 2 draws, 14 of his victories coming by way of knockout. Representando a Las Marías, Puerto Rico, José Chiquito Martinez.
Ok, muchachos, ya yo le dije las instrucciones en el camerino. Bien importante que se protejan todo el tiempo y obedezcan los comandos que le dé. Y aquí salen los grandes campeones, así que vamos a hacer una pelea limpia. Claro, vamos. Dios los bendiga.
74 degrees, humidity at 71%, winds at 9 miles per hour. You don't normally talk about wind when dealing with an outdoor boxing match, but because we're here at the Puerto Rico Olympic Training Center, some leaves have blown off the trees, and it might be one of the first times that we have a little delay in the start of a fight to clear leaves off a ring.
No. It's definitely the first.
Martinez with 4 first-round knockouts in his career. Gonzalez has 2. As we begin round number 1 in this scheduled 10-rounder. Martinez telling us this is a great opportunity to show how good I am.
Hold on to your papers, Bob.
Oh, I got him. I got a veteran. I got him taped down.
Ah, there you go. I'm learning something. Gonzalez coming out fast, working on the jab. That's the right thing to do.
You know, we got to give a big congratulations and kudos.
No. That's what you get, Bob. Papers are going. I still like the jab by Gonzalez. He's, you know, you start with the jab. It's what everybody considers the first round to be is a fill-out round. I get to work, but so I appreciate the guys who are willing to come out and let the hands fly early in the fight. So the jab being worked by Gonzalez is very good.
You know, Gonzalez in the white trunks, this has been a really special week for him because he and his wife Gladys welcomed their first child. His son Jesus Israel was born on Monday, and he says, I feel complete as a person now. I was sorry not to be there, but it gives me greater purpose as a fighter, as a father, and as a husband. Martinez putting his punches together.
Good jabs, good combinations, and just stepping around. That's being a ring general. We talk about that a lot in boxing. You can control the ring, control when the action happens. That's how you become a ring general. Right now, it's Gonzalez.
Gonzalez with 169 rounds of experience. Last fought on December the 19th in Mexico. Just a busy fight, but he said, hey, listen, you got to be active in this sport to be good at it.
Blocking it all early is Jose Martinez, but you got to start returning.
Pretty good first round for Israel Gonzalez in the red trunks in this battle between Puerto Rico and Mexico from Salinas, as we send it over to Brian Campbell.
Thanks, Bob. You know the history of this, as Double S delivered a smooch to the cheek of Tony Margarito.
Awesome story, and we're so happy to have the Hall of Fame referee, Steve Smoger, as part of our team, as round number 2 opens up with a flurry of punches. Again, Gonzalez.
That's great
Trying
work
to be the
by
aggressor.
Gonzalez. Great work by Gonzalez. Head and body.
Speaking of Steve Smoger, he gives round 1 to Gonzalez. You know, we were joking around with Gonzalez because, you know, his son was born on Monday. He told us that he was the youngest of 10.
Yeah.
And he said that he was his mom's favorite because he was the youngest. His mom was one of 28.
28.
His grandfather, Julio Acevedo Muro, was a boxer who went by the nickname Savage Card because he was a fortune teller and he would deal the Savage Card when he'd take somebody out.
It's just so many good stories right here, man. It's hard to root against a guy like Julio Gonzalez when you see everything that he's got. Israel Gonzalez, excuse me. When you see everything that he got, that he has, and where he comes from, and he's working very well, which makes me even more of a fan right now to see the way he's letting these combinations go to the head and body of Martinez, who came right back with a really good right hand and then a body shot there. Power, it looks like Martinez. It looks like Martinez just wants power.
Hook to the body, but then Gonzalez makes him pay. Great exchange there.
Great exchange.
Break. Vamos a romper. Vamos, soltarnos. Bien.
Fighters know two things. When you're dealing with a guy like Gonzalez who can punch in combination, you either punch with him or you give him some power to deal with and break him down, slow him down. And that's what Martinez is trying to do.
And guys, we've been waiting all week for this fight. Talk about close, great matchmaking. The betting odds to open had Jose Martinez as the favorite, but as they closed, minus 200 for Gonzalez, plus 150 for Martinez. Anyone's fight on paper.
Anyone's fight. And the way he's delivering that left hook to the body, he is definitely going to slow down Gonzalez.
Well, Brian, you know, you and I were talking about it over the last couple of days about Gonzalez and the fact that, look, he's 0-3 in world title fights, but it's not like he didn't acquit himself well in those fights. Nice shot by Martinez with the right hand. Good action so far. Good right hand by Gonzalez here at the end of round number 2.
This venue, the Olympic Training Center. He trained here as a Puerto Rican national, as an amateur in the Puerto Rican national team. So he's very familiar with the grounds here. Talk about a home court advantage. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and Gonzalez he didn't mince any words. He's like, listen, I got to knock him out. Brian, we talked about, as we were coming to the end of the last round, about Gonzalez and that championship pedigree. I mean, just as little as 2 fights ago, he showed a lot of heart and a lot of mettle and a lot of skill.
Look, he went in there against one of the greatest of all time, but how about one of the greatest of this modern era in Chocolatito Roman Gonzalez, the 4-division champion. Of course, just lost his title in a thriller with Juan Francisco Estrada, excuse me. He showed a lot of mettle in that fight. Yes, he lost a unanimous decision, but to go 12 hard rounds with a legend, it's shown the consistent growth that Israel Gonzalez has had stepping into this fight.
Yeah, and he told us, he said it was a great experience. I wasn't intimidated, and it proved to me that I can hang with these guys.
And I'm impressed with both guys. You got a guy in Martinez who wants to press towards Gonzalez and go to his body to slow him down. And you got a guy in Gonzalez who wants to go to Martinez's body to take some of the pop off of his shots. You can break a guy down and take some of that power away. And that's why Gonzalez is going to Martinez's body. So this is an interesting fight. So Gonzalez is going to beat Martinez to the punch. He's got quicker hands. It is what it is. What he does after he punches is what's going to make the difference between him winning and losing rounds. This is where he can't afford to be. You're right in front of a guy who wants to throw with power. Make him find you. 2 good body shots there, and then rip him to the body and then to the head with the uppercut. But give him a little bit more movement, a little bit more side to side, and get him to open up. That shell defense right there. That's where Martinez is comfortable. Get him out of the comfortable positions by making him on his feet. Right, BC?
Yeah, Martinez is a very responsible defensive fighter for somebody who fights on the inside and prefers to go to the body. He does live behind that high guard, and he's very good at swiveling away from shots and countering.
And it's such a chess game because when the guy moves, he's going to do 2 things. He's going to keep himself out of harm's way, but he's also going to give the guy he's fighting, his opponent, an indication that he could be hurt. And that's what's happening right now. Martinez is pushing forward.
One of the things that Gonzalez has paid attention to are body shots. Passion and the enthusiasm has been incredible. And we'll be back a week from tonight as we begin round number 4.
Good jabs, Gonzalez. Control the distance, control the ring with the jab.
Steve Smoger, our Hall of Fame referee, has given the first 3 rounds to Israel Gonzalez. You guys agree? I agree with Double S.
Look, this was a close fight on paper. It's playing out close, but I certainly love the activity level of Gonzalez, the way he goes after it. It's funny, Martinez maybe a little bit more known as the more consistent body puncher, yet it's Gonzalez who is getting out ahead this fight.
Yeah, he's able to punch Martinez from the outside, and then also when he's coming in, and then also right here we see a smother, a little bit of a head, what do you call it, a headlock, and then the ref comes in and does her job.
Referee Melba Santos. It's International Women's Month. Melba has refereed 11 world title fights. Great to see her officiating this one.
Remember, guys, I said that for Gonzalez, it's all about what he does after he punches. So he's gonna punch and he's gonna land. He's got fast hands. If he's able to smother Martinez like he did right there, or make him miss like he did right there, he's gonna win rounds. The moment he punches and decides to stand still, whether that's fatigue, whether that's him getting comfortable, whatever it is, that's when he's gonna be in trouble.
Right hand touched the chin of Gonzalez.
Martinez right on him, right there. Bulldozer right on him.
Oh, there's another right hand that scored.
He's coming right over the top of Gonzalez's jab. There's a few headbutts there now from
Gonzalez
whoa.
behind the head there.
Vamos a respetar las reglas, ¿ok? Sin cabezazo.
Translate that, PC.
All I know is I can translate what I'm seeing in the ring, and this is heating up right now.
Yeah,
Showtime, Sean.
she said, calm down and keep it clean.
Well, you know, Gonzalez was complaining that Martinez is holding his head down. Nice combination there by Martinez. Martinez starting to step up the power.
Gonzalez, I think, is hurt.
Gonzalez has got more stationary, hasn't he?
Yep, he's got more stationary. We see him moving now, but it clicked. I gotta keep moving. I gotta stay out of harm's way.
That time he went straight back and got caught going straight back. End of round number 4. Certainly felt Jose Martinez in that last round changed the momentum of the way the fight's going.
And then another right hand right off the top.
He's making great adjustments there. We're not sure. You know, Steve Smoger had Gonzalez up early, but to see Martinez be so comfortable on the inside and be the one walking down the fighter, maybe known as the aggressor, that's great to see.
Yeah.
Steve Smoger gave that last round to Martinez.
And with the right punches, too. I mean, the timing on this right hand is very good by Martinez. And I got a feeling he's got Gonzalez a little shook.
While Gonzalez was landing a left hook to the body, short little uppercut by Martinez scored.
Now the pullback counter right hand.
So when Gonzalez sees Martinez kind of walk him down like this, what does Gonzalez need to do?
Stay consistent. You know, don't allow this guy to get to you mentally and make you feel like he's coming on strong. Stay with what you're doing, working the jab, working to the body, and moving. That's why I said it becomes more of a chess game, because it's just as much mental as it is physical. Physically, we can see that Gonzalez has everything that it takes to continue to move and box and move and box. But if he allows Martinez to get to him mentally and starts to lay on the ropes, it's going to be trouble.
Martinez's output is starting to slow down. He's still cutting off the ring, but not punching to get inside.
Good shell defense, but it's hard to find the guy. When he releases 5 or 6 punches, you cover them all. But then it's like, all right, my turn. Gonzalez has already moved. Great combinations there by Martinez.
2 left hooks as Gonzalez was trying to exit to his right.
Yeah.
It's funny, we're talking about Mexico versus Puerto Rico ad nauseum for great reason, but Gonzalez, who is from Mexico, said this rivalry doesn't mean as much to me. One of my idols is Puerto Rico's Miguel Cotto. I'm not going to prepare any differently facing a Puerto Rican fighter than I would anyone else.
I loved hearing that, you know, being able to respect someone because of what they do, not who they are.
He says, I have very few idols in my life. He goes, believe it or not, though, one of them happens to be from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Who's here tonight.
I was surprised and proud to hear that.
Straight right hand by Martinez, right on the button. Big shift in this fight over the last 2 rounds.
Martinez.
Look at Jose Martinez, who over the last 2 rounds feels like he's starting to impose his will. We talked about Gonzalez from Mexico, his idol being Miguel Cotto. Martinez, promoter, is Miguel Cotto, and he says he's very grateful to him for his support and always cheering us on as a team. Smoger's given the last 2 rounds to Jose Martinez, tightening up that scorecard. Gonzalez goes straight back and eats the left.
I have the last round more of a swing round. I couldn't really tell who won that round, but I did give it to Martinez. I feel like he had more effective punching, but these are all relatively close rounds.
I like the way I thought Gonzalez, Brian, your thoughts? I thought Gonzalez controlled the first 3 rounds, but the last 2, I think, have been a pretty decent shift, where if we're talking about the meaningful, powerful, authoritative punches, and the guy who's dictating the terms of how the flow of the round is going, I think you have to go with Martinez.
And I think you nailed it, saying dictating the terms. Sometimes it can come down to what you're seeing visually as a judge, and what Martinez is showing the judges is that he's cutting off the ring, he's forcing the action upon Gonzalez. And Sean, sometimes a fighter's body language shows a lot. Gonzalez looks frustrated for the last 2 rounds.
I wouldn't even say frustrated. I think he's feeling the heat. Yeah, he's feeling the heat, you know, and I think that's caused him to slow down. take some chances like that right there. You don't need to take chances and throw uppercuts with your head up like that. You know, get back to what you do well, the jab, the combination punching, and the movement.
Sean, another thing that I sense, but you would know better, is that in the early part of this fight, Martinez took some big shots from Gonzalez, felt his power, and it feels like it never bothered him.
No, it never bothered him. I think he took some big punches, but I think he expected that early in the fight. I think he was expecting Gonzalez to start fast, as he did. And I think now he's got the fight to a tempo that he wants it in. Martinez, that is.
Sube la cabeza, chiquito, vamos. Vamos a soltarlo, vamos a soltarlo. Suéltalo, vamos.
Martinez's nickname is Chiquito. We asked him about that. He said, my dad was known as the little one. And I kind of followed suit as they exchanged some pretty big shots right there at the end of round number 6. Scheduled for 10. We're at the Puerto Rico Olympic Training Center in Silvers. NBC is your home for the Tokyo Olympic Games as we start round number 7, and Martinez with the first meaningful punch landed in the round.
For Martinez, it's going to be overhand rights and left hooks. He's going to cause Gonzalez to walk into those shots as he's doing.
And that's all about the timing. Martinez's timing has been incredible with that left hook, just as Gonzalez is starting to let go with his own combination.
See Steve Smoger's scorecard, unofficial scorecard. He gave the first 3 rounds to Gonzalez, and he's given rounds 4 and 5 to Martinez. Gave the last round to Gonzalez. That's the first round that Steve and I may have had a little dispute on.
Usually it's myself and Steve who have a dispute.
I was going to say, you're never going to get that smooch if you're looking for it, if you keep questioning this guy's scorecard.
we're in on the court tonight. We're on the court. Myself and Steve. I gave the last round to Gonzalez too. I just felt like he edged it out. A big right hand right there by Gonzalez.
You know what makes a great fight? Ebbs and flows, momentum shifts. You're starting to feel just a little like this is starting, that Gonzalez turning things around. I will say, this is as advertised. They're fighting at close range. They're letting their hands go. This is Mexico versus Puerto Rico, just like you like it.
And I think what Gonzalez did coming out was move. He came out, started the round moving and throwing punches, and now back to the inside. It changes the dynamic of the fight. First, I gotta chase this guy, and now he's right here, and you know, it's a quick decision, a quick adjustment needs to be made. Big chances right there. Gonzalez is taking.
Vamos a soltarnos. Están agarrando mucho. Cuidado con las cabezas. Vamos, break.
I want to say this now because it's showing up. There's a saying we have in boxing: you don't hook with the hooker. I would consider Martinez to be the hooker in this fight, and he keeps catching Gonzalez with the hook, but it's only because Gonzalez stands up and tries to throw a hook of his own.
That time Gonzalez got out of harm's way. Something he didn't do in rounds 4 and 5.
Cuidado con las cabezas. Vamos. Suéltanos, vamos. 3 segundos y se acaba.
Good combination there by Gonzalez, including a shot to the body.
Vamos. Se está acabando. Ya, tiempo, vamos.
I would agree with you. Looked a lot like the final round of Spence Porter. I think you remember that one.
Round number 8 begins. No knockdowns in this fight.
I don't think they can see it on TV, but Israel Gonzalez is dripping with water, dripping off of his shorts. They definitely poured water on him to wake him up. Stay awake, stay alert, stay sharp until the end of this fight. Right here, right there, we're an exchange of hooks. Both guys.
Would you say that Gonzalez has kind of weathered the storm a little bit, where it really felt like Martinez was imposing his will, and Gonzalez has been able to kind of shift things back a little bit?
I feel kind of like this weather. I mean, the wind it comes and goes, and I think that Martinez is going to try to come again really hard at some point, and there's going to be at least another 2 or 3 storms that Gonzalez is going to have to weather. But yeah, to this point, he's answered every barrel, every call.
Sometimes it's slight adjustments. Martinez is still cutting off the ring almost with ease, but with the difference the last couple rounds, Gonzalez is making him pay. He's letting go with quick combinations as soon as Martinez is there, and that's why you're seeing this increase in action.
Break! Vamos.
They don't listen to her. It's just, you know, I feel like they are just fighting. She says break, step back, and they keep going.
They're just optional suggestions tonight.
Yeah, it's just suggestions today.
Cuidado, cuidado, vamos.
See, look, back, separate. Martinez knows that he can't afford to give up anything if he wants to stay on top of Gonzalez.
Vamos, soltarlo. Vamos, chiquito.
She says back up. Martinez says, I can't.
Now, why would he say that, Sean? Why would he say I can't back there?
He's got to stay close to Gonzalez. Don't give Gonzalez room to work like he does right here, or room to move.
Because that's when Gonzalez can use his reach advantage.
And Martinez is getting beat to the punch at this point.
Gonzalez seems to be actively trying to make this a firefight. He feels a lot more comfortable in this type of setting.
Yeah. Gonzalez has worked everywhere. He's worked moving backwards. He's used the ring and moved around the ring and now pressing and waving on Martinez even though he ate 2.
It was a big right hand by Jose Martinez, and Israel told him, let's go. Keep it coming.
Yeah, and it feels like Gonzalez has gotten a second wind here. This is what he looked like in the first couple rounds.
Hall of Famer, who's 3-0, by the way, against Mexican fighters in title bouts.
Did you see the way both guys were ready for the bell to ring to start the round?
It's funny, the previous round, they were both standing up and pretty close to the middle of the ring. That time, they're squared up and ready.
10 rounds may not be enough to contain what we're seeing here right now.
It's not.
Steve Smoger gave Gonzalez the last round. He has it 78-74 on his scorecard. Remember, the early rounds we all thought went in Gonzalez's favor. Martinez in rounds 4 and 5 steadied the ship, but it feels as if Gonzalez has found his footing again.
Oh, and speaking to that, because you said that as we were ending the last round, a guy with experience, you can find that second win, that third win. You can weather those storms and things like that and be very fresh in rounds 9 and 10, and that's what we're seeing from Gonzalez.
Let's check in with Curran.
I checked in with both corners. There's obviously a lot of ebbs and flows in this fight. In the Martinez corner, they said we want our guy to be first and be aggressive. They feel like he's done that more recently. In the Israel Gonzalez corner, they said he needs to go back to what he was doing early, moving, boxing, and not brawling. They don't like what they're seeing in the recent rounds. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and even in winning rounds, you can still improve and do better. I feel like Gonzalez has won the last 2 rounds, but I still would like him to move. I think his corner doesn't want him to take the chances that he's been taking at this point. And what I mean by chances is just staying there a little too long and getting a little too greedy. And I think that's what Gonzalez is doing. His corner doesn't want him to do.
Okay, but if you're Gonzalez, right, you're in round 9. You know you are fighting in Puerto Rico. He did tell us that, hey, the best way to deal with this judging is to finish the guy off. Do you maybe have to take a little bit more of a chance than you would if you were fighting, let's say this fight was in the United States in a more neutral setting?
And that's why I love boxing, because there's just so many components. Now he's got to fight with his heart and his mind. His mind is his coach is telling him, hey, keep moving, keep boxing, keep doing what you're doing. Heart is saying, hey, I got to go get it. I gotta take this fight from this guy. If I don't, I'm going to lose a fight in his hometown. There's so many battles within the battle, and that's why I love boxing.
Both guys really becoming headhunters the last couple rounds. You're not seeing that commitment to the body that we saw earlier.
Yeah. And again, like you said, 10 rounds isn't enough to contain this fight. Guys know that, hey, there's 2 rounds left. I got to knock this guy out. And a lot of times you abandon the body trying to get a knockout.
Gonzalez has the experience when you talk about going 10 or more. He's done that 6 times. Right hand by Martinez on the counter. Martinez has only been 10 or more once or twice.
All depends on what you liked.
I don't think either fighter can be fully confident that they have the advantage here because of how close, in terms of proximity, this fight has been contested.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see Steve Smoger's scorecard, and our Hall of Fame referee, and how he has it through 9. And he's given the last 3 rounds to Gonzalez. I kind of see it similar, or the last 4 rounds to Gonzalez. I gave the first 3 rounds to Gonzalez, the next 3 rounds to Martinez, and the last 3 rounds to Gonzalez.
Sean, to your earlier point, Gonzalez's trunks are soaked. That is dripping all over the canvas. They put a little water on the huevos, which can wake a guy up, but it might be a little bit too much.
Yes, they drenched him, but a part of that is putting cold water on a guy. It kind of revives you, you know what I mean? So they've tried to keep him awake this entire 10 rounds. And I'm not saying he's been hurt or anything like that, but you keep a guy attentive by waking him up with that cold water. This is a big round, man.
I wonder if Gonzalez believes that he's ahead because he's the one initiating these clinches and hanging on as long as he possibly can until the referee jumps in.
Well, we all know, you know, I'm in your backyard. I got to fight to the end, you know, and what Mexican fighter would do that? You know, Martinez right there. More. I need more from you. Show me that you know this fight is up for grabs and go after it. You know, Martinez, again, we talk about experience. I don't think Martinez has the experience to know I got to put my foot on the gas pedal and hurt this guy and let these judges know I want the fight.
See, the women are coming up next. We got 4 live fights for you tonight on NBC SN, including our main event, Alberto Machado of Puerto Rico taking on Angel Fierro of Mexico. Plus, we'll see Joe Ward of Ireland and Marco Delgado in a rematch.
If anything, Martinez is the one down, and he's the one grabbing and standing and waiting. And he can't afford to do that right now. Rough him up, keep working, twist, turn. My dad would call that the silent agreement. Martinez just decides to stand there instead of continuing to fight.
Not ruled a knockdown, as Gonzalez got a chuckle of that move by Martinez on the takedown. This is a hard round to judge. There's been a lot of clinching.
Look at these guys. They don't listen. They don't listen. They want the fight.
Martinez has initiated the action, though, at the very least.
Yep. I would say he was the aggressor. They both think they're winners. But it's going to go to the judges' scorecards. Very interesting bout because it had different ebbs and flows. At 118 pounds, Jose Martinez and Israel Gonzalez. Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Some good body work, power shots landed throughout the course of the fight, some clash of heads, and then sportsmanship. The judges' decisions when we return to Puerto Rico on Ring City, USA. What a fight this was between Jose Martinez and Israel Gonzalez. Time for the decision in Lupe Contreras.
After going all 10 rounds here at El Albergue Olímpico Salinas, Puerto Rico, we consult the official scorecard to determine a winner. Judge Taylor scores the bout. 96-94 in favor of Gonzalez. Overruled by judges Trella and Torres, who turned in identical scores of 95-95. This bout is declared a majority draw. The title remains vacant.
Bit of surprise. Well, you know what?
Everybody out here is like, what's that mean?
That means they could do it again.
Yeah.
Majority draw. So Israel Gonzalez was prophetic when he said, I can't leave it up to the judges' scorecards, fighting in his hometown.
And so were the odds makers. You saw the odds flip-flop before the start of this fight. Such a fun fight, contested at close range, and really anybody's guess down to the final round there who had the advantage.
That was a fun fight to watch. I actually had